It's rare that I watch interviews with officials from African nations, but when you do, you know that you're in for a treat.
What's going on here? Over the next decade, 2 decades, it is expected that there will be $150 billion worth of oil and gas extracted off your coast. It's an extraordinary figure, but think of it in practical terms. That means, according to many experts, more than 2 billion tons of carbon emissions will come from your seabed, from those reserves, and be released into the atmosphere.
Funny how when the Russian pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline, got blown up, the BBC isn't interested in figuring out who caused this environmental damage. Because again, like, this affects the planet, right? Like, it affects everybody. So they do not seem to have any interest, like the conflict aside, war aside. Still, a lot of carbon is being released into the atmosphere, and you would think they would be interested in figuring out how that happened, right? No, of course not. Okay.
I don't know if you, as a head of state, went to the COP in Dubai.
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there.
I don't know if you went to COP in Dubai. Did you take your private jet and go to COP in Dubai like Western leaders? Did you take your yacht and go to COP to talk about it? Another interesting thing, right? Like, they have these environmentalist conventions where all the leaders are going. I think, like, Biden took his entire security detail filled with the motorcade with 4x4s. That's fine, right? Like, these individuals, they pollute more than you can ever pollute in your entire life. The 1%, I saw a statistic, it pollutes 50% more than everyone else, like the rest of the population. But you're to blame because, well, you have a gas stove and, you got an air conditioning and you're killing Mother Gaia. It's not the elites that are taking private jets to a meeting that they could have it on Zoom. And by the way, the reason that they go to these meetings, because this is also interesting, it's not because they care about the environment. Like, it's literally the same topics that have been ushered over and over. The reason they go there is to network. Is to do the businesses that they do amongst themselves, is to enrich themselves, right? So they're going to this place in order to care about the planet. And as you saw, like last time Joe Biden went to one of these events, he fell asleep. Like, there's video evidence on the internet of that. And obviously he did, because he doesn't care about it. Like, what he does care is the networking, is the shaking of hands, is the meeting of important people, of business people, and finding out, how can you get your next campaign being sponsored? How you can, what can you do for them so that you find out what they can do for you?
Do you know that Guyana has a forest forever that is the size of England and Scotland combined?
Yeah, that strategy was nerfed. They don't care about forests anymore. Then, ironically, don't. Like, I saw articles saying that, well, the forests are producing carbon now, so what do we do about it? They want net zero, and the forests are producing carbon. If you guys remember, and this is like a perfect example of the government frustrating businesses. When I was younger, they forced supermarkets to sell plastic bags because they care about the trees, you see. Yeah, like, paper bags aren't good because you need to chop down trees in order to make them. That's horrible. So let's have plastic bags. And okay, like, everyone was having plastic bag. Everyone was proud by displaying their plastic bag because look like they're helping nature, and plastic is going to be recycled anyway. That was the mentality back then. Now, plastic bags aren't okay. You're hurting Mother Gaia. What we want is paper bags. How is it not obviously a grift at this point? Like, they will say, well, yes, but the science is changing. And it's like, motherfucker, okay, but like, can we not hold the scientists accountable? Who lost their jobs over this? Which politician was forced to resign over this? This is just one example out of many. It's an entire fucking pattern. Like during COVID, you had people that were like, oh, if only we can press a button and cause half of the people to disappear because the environment, my planet, don't have kids, my planet. And literally the exact same people, because I know them on Twitter, exact same people. COVID happens. you need to triple mask. You need to triple mask to save grandma. And it's like, but didn't you want an event like this? And then they block you because it's like, well, they don't want to have that conversation. But the interesting part during COVID is that all those masks, they had microplastics. And the microplastic is going to now end up in the ocean. So in California, in San Francisco, they've banned plastic straws, but they're forcing people to mask up. And as a bonus round, the peak environmentalism, the picture that speaks 1,000 words, is that if you actually go out there and you buy paper straws, they come wrapped up in plastic. Like, all of this is just a facade. It's a huge fucking grift. If the world is genuinely ending, these people are not going to save it. Like, everything is performative. Everything is just for show.
Combined, a forest that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon, a forest that we have kept alive, a forest that we have kept alive.
Does that give you the right?
No,
Does
no,
that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Yes, it literally gives him the right. 100% it gives him the right because it's his country. He's sovereign over his nation. And it's his fucking forest. He was elected by the people. And yes, it does give him the right. This guy, this BBC anchor, oozes condescension. Sorry, not oozes. Gushes is the word. Gushes condescension. He would not speak this way to any other Western leader. I do not see him speak this way to Macron. Or to Ursula von der Leyen. He would never talk like this. And it, like, gives you the right. Yeah, who should give him the right? Like, who has the right if not the actual president of the country? And by the way, this is also interesting. The politician didn't make this argument, but he should have. It's like, this oil that he is drilling, he's not drilling it for his nation. He's drilling it for the Western powers. Like, if the Western powers wouldn't buy the oil, then he wouldn't drill it. And not to mention, I don't think that this BBC news anchor took a bicycle all the way to Africa. Like, he took a plane. He uses the gas that he is complaining that other people do. How much do you want to bet that when he goes home, he has air conditioning? And his son probably has a gaming PC as well. But they're going to sit there and, what gives you the right? What gives you, like they're inquisitors of our modern time. And, like the president of Ghana has to answer to this guy who gives him the right.
From that give you the right to lecture us on climate change. I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for, that you don't value, that you don't see a value in, that the people of Guyana has kept alive. Guess what?
The reality is they generally don't value it. Like, look at Germany. They're chopping down the forest and they're calling it biofuel now. Now it's renewable. The forests are renewable. For all this time, all the green activists were basically saying, no, actually, don't destroy the forests. They're the lungs of the earth. Oh, the horned viper, the jumping spider, the this and that. Now it's fine. Now it's fine. It's just like, don't use the other methods of energy. So I'm really glad to see an African president standing up to the BBC. And it's interesting to see just how much condescension a person can have. It's like, what gives you the right? Is this a way to conduct an interview? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.